as well. Ken, awesome, by the way. Congratulations on the book. What a great way to get into the week, right? All right, so
Absolutely. Thank you.
awesome. You know it. Guys, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Bullishbrs community. Good morning, Discord and YouTube viewers. Everybody, hope you're all doing well. We're going to go over some futures today. Right now, we are currently looking at the ES. Now, we've had some really strange price action lately. We do have to be a little careful with how price is moving. We're currently above that previous day high. Obviously above the previous day low as well, but mainly that previous day high that we're looking at, right? We want to see if we can maybe manage to find our way above this 55.28.75 level and make our way to that daily supply zone, which would call for a lot of volume to start to pick up here, and this 55.28 to really break and hold. So I'm going to mark this out as like a major, and we're going to be keeping an eye on that, right? We can even throw a little emoji in there with some eyes. We keep an eye. And that's the price level I'm really looking for on ES today, to see if we can manage to break that with strength and continue, because we've been getting some crazy moves. I mean, this move right here was nearly 500 points on the ES, so a break of that and a target up there, 142 points, isn't unreasonable, and it's not that out of the ordinary in these types of market conditions. If we measure it from our open to that high, it's still only 215 points. That's a lot of points for the ES. But when it comes to the current market conditions and we're looking at the ATR, ADR, and stuff like that, well, then we know that 215 points isn't that out of the ordinary. Even yesterday, from high to low, was about 202. Here, let's mark it from high to low. Measurement tool, open to low, 212 points, right? And I was looking for a very similar move today from today's open to that supply zone, about 217, 220 points. So this is what I'm looking for on the ES. If we manage to fail this previous day high break and hold, I will look to see if we could break back within this range and look to sell off towards this 52.71 level on ES. Now, if you're trading SPY, that would also be some SPY puts in supply, and then maybe some longs in demand, or some longs if we could break that major level, get calls on SPY to target some higher prices. I want to get in contact with TradingView and ask them if they could somehow put the SPY price on the right hand side next to the futures price. How great would that be? What do you think of the US 30? What's going on, Will? US 30, pretty sure that is the YM, right? The Dow Jones. So let's go over the YM itself. Is the futures equivalent of that. So let's take a quick look. I always like to start on my daily time frame, get an idea of what the current trend is. Now, just like the ES and NQ, most markets are in, and when I say markets, I don't mean Forex markets, stock market, Forex markets. Most futures markets, most stock markets in general are in down markets, right? We've been in the tariff situation, we've been moving lower, making lower lows, making higher lower highs. It wasn't until just recently that we found some strong volume and started to base off of the news that we are pausing tariffs. So the question remains, do those pauses stay in line? And does the volume want to help continue here? So something I would do is I would mark out that other day's high. So I always like to mark out previous day high and low, but I also like to mark out recent pivot highs and lows, especially on these daily time frames. So this level right here, 140, major level I would look for on the YM, the Dow, or US 30. Got you, got you. So I'm going to even add an alert here and write Dow above KL. KL means key level. So Dow above key level, we're looking for continuation. And when this alert goes off, I'm also going to be looking for the volume as well. I want to make sure volume is stepping in along with price action. Now I like to break it down. We go to maybe a 4-hour time frame, see if there are any supply or demand zones that are helping hold our trade right here. Well, I see we had a 4-hour demand zone right here, but I see we unfortunately missed that entry. We had our 4-hour demand, it was made, we retested it, we held it, we continued higher. So I want to see if there are any other levels of support down here that have formed. I see this was a major level of support. Then we were below it, it was resistance, and then we were above it again, it was support. So I want to see if there are any demand zones that line up in this level. This is the 4-hour time frame right now. Again, just sort of marking out supply and demand helps me find the highs and lows of a chart, and then I'm able to do my smaller, lower time frame analysis to find my entries. So that was a 4-hour. I don't see anything really on the 3-hour here. I'm going to check the 2-hour, make sure I don't see much. Now I see a small 2-hour demand right here. Now usually I would want a stronger move. Now I think, is Ozzy in here? He is. Yo, Ozzy. So here's a great example. I know we spoke about last time in our last session the difference between like a strong zone and sort of like a weaker zone. Obviously there are different aspects to this. But right here we have our basing near a low, red candle. So red basing candle. We have our impulse move, and it has continuation, right? So right off the bat, you would almost assume, okay, this marks off all 3 on the checklist. This could be a demand zone. But something I would want to keep an eye on is I would want to see that, okay, well, this demand zone, the rally afterwards, this wasn't a valid rally. This rally ended up moving us only 477 points. The last time we had a rally, it moved about 3,000 points. So I would have at least wanted this rally to bring us to a newer high around 1,500 points. So that's what would make this a little bit of a weaker zone. Now the reason I am marking this out is because we had that broken demand zone there anyway. So this was a pretty strong AOI area of interest. 4096 looks good target. 4096. Give me a half a second, guys. All right. So somebody's at 4090, 40,906, 4906. Okay, so we're looking at much smaller time frames now. So let's keep an eye. 4096. Nice, right inside. That's sort of inside. I have a 15-minute supply zone would be right here. So we see that we have our basing candle long near the highs, and then we had our sell-off continuation. So it could be either a supply zone, order block, whatever strategy or system you use, whatever you want to call it. So we would look to see if we do maybe want to hold and create a lower high at this point. Now, if we do manage to hold this supply zone, something we could look for is to see if we want to end up continuing back lower and take out maybe these lower time frame liquidity sweeps, right? Look at all these lower time frame pivot lows. These are all where if people were going long over here and trying to trail their stop loss, when people trail their stop loss, they're going to be bringing them to those pivots. So those pivots all resemble some type of stop order, supposedly, something to keep an eye on. How to break it to continue trend. Yep, exactly. So right now it looks like, okay, if we were on the hourly, looks like we could be reversing here, trying to make a higher high, higher low. We really need to, if anything, we also really need to break that 41,067 to continue trend 2, and that would give us a real nice break. Now the only thing is, we do have a little bit of a supply zone right here I'm going to mark out, and that's right above that break. So you know what? Not even at 4140, right? 4149. I want to see a break above 41,389. That would be major on the Dow for a strong trend day today, in my opinion. Now, because that would require a big break, I want to be a little careful with that and be prepared for that. 4118. I also want to see where those zones and levels are in comparison to my higher time frame. So let's go into our visibility, turn it on to daily, and go back to our daily time frame. Okay, so that's sort of what we're looking at, right? If we can manage to break above this, I could see us run towards maybe the gap fill on this daily fair value gap we have right here. Now, a lot of ICT traders might be looking at this and going, oh, we have a huge daily fair value gap here. We're rejecting it. We're going to reject it again. Listen, to each his own. If you have a strategy that works for you, that's not too complex for you, that's something smooth that you understand, stick with it. Doesn't matter if people poo-poo on it. Doesn't matter if everybody uses it or nobody uses it. If it's something you're comfortable with, you're seeing consistency with, and something you're working with, stick with it. You're your own person. You're in your own trading journey. So here I have a daily supply zone right there, 42,231. Guys, we're going to take a quick look at the NASDAQ now, the NQ. Well, I hope that breakdown helps. If you got any other questions, please let me know. Look at this, guys. NASDAQ, big gap up right here from the Friday close to Sunday/Monday open. It's working away from close and open price from last night, opening price Asia. Nice. Buying. Cool, cool, cool. Alright, so previous day high, we're going to be marking that out on the NAS. Again, we gapped above that. This is our orb yesterday on NASDAQ between 18,350 and 18,500. Right now, we're already currently trading about 600 points away from that previous day's orb. So let's break it down into some lower time frames. Let's keep an eye, see what's cooking. What do we got, and what do we got? So I know yesterday we had a 30-minute supply, I believe, or it was a 15-minute supply that we ended up using as demand. Look at this, guys. So we had our supply zone. It gave us a nice short entry. We ended up flipping this zone, and then it ended up working for some nice long entries, right, for new high a day. So something I might look for today is I might look to see, do we have any support below us that we might want to look to hold? Do we have any demand above us or supply above us that might look to hold? Right now, I have a target of 19,600 on the NASDAQ. Now, something else I like to check on when looking for equities, guys, is I want to make sure that when I'm looking at futures, is I want to make sure that the equities are also bullish or bearish, depending on the bias I'm currently trying to look at today. Right now, if we're looking at Apple is, it is above its previous day high. Microsoft, Tesla, Nvidia, Amazon, 5 out of the 6 that I like to look at are now above their previous day high. Now, market doesn't open for another 30 minutes or so, so we do have some time. Orb strategy is okay. I like to sort of keep an eye on it, and I like to look for double breaks. And I'll usually look to see if the first break could be towards a supply or demand zone, while the second break is towards my target. But let's see. Right, back to equities. I see that we've got strength. Equities are looking good. So something I would look for when market opens is I would look to see if Microsoft or Meta, Apple, I want to see if volume steps in along with price moving higher, right? These two things always have to go hand in hand, because if price starts moving higher and volume is not initiating this move, there's a good chance that that price and that move higher will fail. But right now, with most equities being above previous day high, that's keeping me on the bullish sentiment for things like the NASDAQ and ES. And again, guys, NASDAQ and Q, that would be the QQQ for those trading options. And I believe, what is it on the Forex terms? It's like US, isn't it US 100? Something like that. Alright, so something I would mark out right away, guys, is we had this crazy gap higher from our Friday close to our Sunday open. I would mark out the high of this gap, and that does qualify as this current day's high. So I'm going to mark it out, and we're going to call that our buy-side liquidity, right? So on a break of this, where I know a lot of retail traders might be looking and say, okay, well, if we break this high up here, I want to see us continue higher. I'm going to look for this high to break, for us to reverse at that point, right? See if we want to trap anybody, any breakout traders, if there's enough volume to help us reverse and push back lower. Now, I do want to see if we have any demand zones below us that might be supporting us too. First thing I see here is this basing candle. We have our impulse move, but we don't really have the continuation, and now that is because market closed at this point. We had a gap up, which could arguably be continuation. But if something's arguable on my charts, I'm not putting it there. Everything has to be clear to me. Now, something I see here on the 4-hour time frame, we have our basing candle here. We have our impulse move. We pulled back and we retested it, if we want to look at it more like that. And then we held it for continuation. So this is a strong zone or area of interest that also had a demand zone form on it. So I would look to see if we can maybe come back towards this 18.464. What is this? 18,464. Now, I don't think we're going to come back to that and then reverse at that point, because that would be a 630 point drop just for us to reverse and push back up another 600-700 points. But we will keep an eye on that. It's always good to be aware of these zones and levels before the market opens, so nothing really hits us as a surprise. Would you follow candlestick patterns and patterns at the best levels on pullback to continue trend north? Yeah, exactly. So if I was looking if I was looking for buyers to continue us here, if I was looking for longs, or if I thought the trend was a clear bullish trend, I'd be buying pullbacks. I'd look for us to break key levels and then retest them for support. I look for supply zones to break and retest those supply zones as demand, things like that. I would use price action with it, but I'd also use, you guys see the tool over here on the left-hand side. This is Bookmap. Bookmap shows us the order flow in the market. So it would show us over here we have some passive sellers on the ES 5490, 5495, 5500. So we'll wait on this. We'll see we do have green on the CVD, which means the cumulative volume delta for this session has been green. There's more buying pressure than selling pressure. Just a few things I'd be looking for. So that's ES. Take a quick look at the NAS also. I wanted to see really if we had any demand zones form on this little trend higher pre-market, but I'm not seeing anything promising, which tells me that there might be a chance we sell off when market opens. I do want to watch every time frame because we can't dismiss any. We have to be aware of them all. I see this blue zone as an area of interest right here, but that's sort of about it. So I'm going to mark it out to the bottom of this wick. This is 1900 key psychological level. I'm going to watch this on the NASDAQ to see if we do want to maybe break this level, pull back to the red supply zone, and hold supply as demand and move higher. That's what I would ideally like to see. If we continue higher for trend, that would make me have a stronger bullish bias. 15-minute fair value gap right here. Sort of would look for something like this, but that would require us to break higher first. So something I would look for is I'd look for us to keep going, break higher, and then after we break higher, I'd like to see if we could come retest this area of support now and continue on that bull trend. So that would be a trade setup I would potentially want to look for on the NASDAQ today. If we could see that equities are moving higher, the ES is moving higher, VIX is moving lower. So we just got to make sure everything's lining up, and obviously that the tariff news is still at bay and they're still paused. Now if somebody tweets around 11 or 10 or whenever that, hey, I'm going to start tariffing China again, I'm going to start tariffing Mexico again, guess what? This market could completely flip on its ass, and we have to be prepared for that as traders in these types of uncertain market conditions. Now let's take a quick look at gold. Gold has held and been going pretty crazy. So we have, this is a daily supply zone. Now if we're looking at the daily on gold, guys, we have been making some all-time highs. Just yesterday we made an all-time high, broke right through, made our way to 32.63, very strong move. Now the question is, do we want to continue and make another all-time high again today? Now we haven't taken out that previous day high, so I'm going to be adding an alert to it. So if we're looking at the ES or NQ or something, and gold continues higher and is trending higher, then I won't miss out on it because I'm going to get an alert either over here or on my phone or on my Apple Watch, whatever the case may be. That way I don't miss this trade. Now as for entries on gold, I did have this 30-minute supply right here that we struggled to break a few times yesterday, and then we finally rejected it. So again, sort of a tough situation. That supply zone marks the high of our range, while this blue zone marks the bottom of our range. What I do, bud, is I take 10 minutes to open, I look for a pattern, set for the bell, then wait for the manipulation, then go in the direction it sets before the open. Okay, so cool. So you try to make sure you get in a trade before the market opens. See, me personally, I'm not a big fan of taking trades, especially on like the ESNQ. I guess in your case would be the Dow because you're trading the US 30. I'd much rather wait for that New York session to open because a lot of times, let's say it looks like we're going in one direction, that New York session opens, we get the real volume, we get real market participants, we could end up reversing, right? At that point, before New York session opens, we have the London session. We don't have not much going on into Microsoft, nothing going on into Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, things like that. Only thing really moving the market at that point, pre-market, is news catalysts, some momentum, a little bit of gaps, not momentum, but there's no volume. And when there's no volume, it's easily manipulated, and I'd much rather wait till I see the true volume step in and see if the buyers want to show their hand or sellers want to show their hand. 1 minute chart for a scalp. Oh, there you go, bud. There you go. You're on the 1 minute chart. That's why. YouTube guys, make sure you hit that like button. Discord, we're being patient on today's session. We're just waiting, seeing if we do. So far we did get that 15-minute supply zone break. I do like that. We already broke it pre-market, but I wouldn't consider a gap like this breaking a supply zone yet, because even though, yes, technically it was above the zone, it didn't break it with price and volume. It broke it with a gap, and then we sold right back off. So I'm keeping this zone here. This is my strong area of interest on the NASDAQ today, between 19,124 and 19, does that say 186? Wow, a zone that's only 60 points, not 200 points. That's crazy. I love to see it. We're finally starting to tighten up. Ranges are also getting tighter, so maybe markets are starting to calm down a little bit. Maybe the tariff news on pausing it does stick. We'll just have to wait and see. Good, man, good. It's good to wait. Let's see. So that's NAS, that's ES. Random, you seeing anything today?
I have it going up or down.
You got it going up or down. Nice, man. Good analysis, dude. Can't beat it. Have it going up or down. Yeah, I see when market opens, I see some volume stepping in, and I could definitely see this market going up or down.
I mean, I'm just trying to be like all the other YouTubers, right?
Yeah.
They basically like long wind tell you it's going up or down.
Yeah. Alright, guys, we're breaking into a supply. It's time to go long. Alright. I'm just kidding, by the way. So 30-minute demand right here on crude. Not really at a major pivot low, but it was a pretty strong area of interest. It was a point of consolidation. We see if we drag this zone out to the left, this was a very strong area of interest, right? Worked as resistance, resistance, resistance. Now we're above it. Now we want to see if we want to work as support on this zone. So we're going to mark that out as our D30 minute. And something I think I notice on crude as well is we are above that previous day high, right? So again, sort of giving us a bullish sentiment. We could check edge full stats to see what are the odds that we close green today on oil. Now I would also want to see where is our open price today. Open price is right here. Ooh, open is below that demand. Womp womp. Let's see. So crude oil, we are looking for, what I said, we're looking for previous day's range. Alright, good talk, Edgeful. Good talk. Love to see it. Keep it up. Wonderful. There we go. Like it never lagged out. Alright, we're looking at crude oil, previous day's range, and I want to look at the daily session. I do not want to look at the New York session because we already took out that previous day high overnight. So previous day's range, crude oil 6 p.m. to 5 p.m., right? Full 23-hour future market. I see that when we break previous day high, lately, it's been up for grabs. It's been very difficult. It has not been shooting as consistently. We have been breaking previous day highs and closing red, breaking previous day lows and closing red. Very bearish on crude lately, but again, we have to remember the catalyst that could potentially reverse us. Now, I've been talking about this for like a week or two now, how we can't really reverse in the market without some type of real news catalyst, because what's driving the market lower lately is news catalysts, right? It was the tariffs, it was the economic uncertainty, all of the badness going on in the world. I mean, look how perfect this rejection on crude is. Would have been a nice swing trade short for $10 move on crude. Anyways, we had our pause on tariffs around April 9th. That's this day right here. Wednesday, I said we got to have some type of relief. We end up getting that relief. Is it a potential reversal on the market? We don't know until we're able to see us continue to break these recent pivot highs, right? So we make some higher highs off of these highs, not off of these highs. Obviously, we have to take these out before we can get back up here, but we have to break this high. Then we have to make our way back above. This demand zone is a crucial level. If we're looking back, we're on the daily time frame right now, even all the way back to like September of 24. This was a major support level while we were above it for over a year. So now that we're below it, even though I'd love to see crude oil reverse and continue higher here, while we're below it, I want to see if this wants to work as some type of resistance level. If we could get back above it, hallelujah, thank goodness. But right now, we're just going to wait and see how crude wants to trade. At the moment, we're down here, so we don't really have to worry about this demand zone. So what were we looking at before? Well, we had a 30-minute demand right here that just formed. We have a 15-minute supply up here that is working as resistance so far. So here's our range on oil. We have our low around 61.98, our high around 62.55. Very small range on crude. Now let's take a quick stab at gold. Now what I would like to see on gold is if it could move lower towards this broken supply zone. The reason for that is because we sort of just broke right through it, no problem. And also, if we break that previous day low, I would like to see us reverse back higher because, again, a lot of retail traders might be looking for that previous day low to break to go short. Meanwhile, I have possibly a 1-hour demand zone right under it. I have this broken supply zone that we broke that I'm looking to hold as a support zone now. So there's a lot leading for the buyers. Meanwhile, the only thing telling the shorts to go short is a previous day low break. So if they're unaware of the support we have here, they might be taking short positions and be becoming the liquidity that's needed to move higher, right? Now, I'm not saying one retail trader is going to be the liquidity needed to reverse. That's ridiculous and impossible. However, once one retail trader has their stop there, another does, this all starts to add up. Markets know how to make it look bearish before they're able to flip bullish, right? That's their whole thing. They know how to make institutions or retail traders stop out so they could try to position themselves in better entries. So be patient today, guys. Look at this 15-minute time frame here on the NASDAQ. Minute 34 for this 15-minute to close. And we are not closing above this supply zone just yet. We're going to have to wait and see how we want to trade. We'll leave edge full up over here in case anybody does want to go over any other tools or statistics or anything. Leave it right there. We'll keep bookmap over here. That's the NASDAQ. Now, I do like to keep an eye on my weighted index as well. That's the bottom right over here. Now, same situation with the weighted index as we are to the equities. We're above that previous day high. Now, if I'm looking at the VIX is below its previous day low. So, again, a lot of things suggesting more bullish than bearish on the market right now. ES, NQ, things like that. Elon says he's digging his own grave and he's blaming. That's funny. So I posted a video yesterday right on Elon because Elon's always just yapping away. So Elon says he's digging his own grave and he's blaming Trump and Doge, and he's saying that it's political propaganda. They're tarnishing my image. He went from like a 50s plus, what was it, like a 50 plus favorable rate to like now he's like under 40. I think almost even low 30s. I think he's like 38. Oh, it's Trump's fault. It's the political propaganda. It's this and that. Somebody, I posted the video and whatever, and somebody commented, Elon just says this stuff so you guys have content. It's funny because it's like, you think, is that why Trump says all this too? Is he just helping people make video? Like, this is ridiculous. All the nonsense going on in the market, all the nonsense, the manipulation almost going on too. I mean, we saw Trump posted on Twitter before the rally, obviously. Where is it? It was Wednesday, right? So before this huge rally, he posted on Twitter, now is a good time to buy. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that, but he did. And then what happened? He announced the tariff pause, and the market increased over 10%. So he made billions, his friends made billions, anybody that followed that tweet made billions. Market manipulation a little bit, maybe yes, no, maybe so, who knows? What do you guys think? Let me know. But to each his own, right? All we can do as retail traders, as non-presidential people, is wait and react. It's all we can do. All we can do. Wait, react, and appreciate the volatility. Because it does not come like this every day. We just got to get used to it, right? We got to adapt to market conditions, size down in our trading, maybe go to some micros instead of the minis, or even if this range is too strong for you, listen, show up to the market every day, make sure you're getting good experience and knowledge in, and you're not missing any days that you're starting to sort of lack a little bit on the education portion or where the markets are currently trading at. But you don't have to take a trade, guys. Remember, every day does not have to be a trading day. If you don't see a setup that is in your books or in your playbook or something that's not that promising or that probable to you, don't take it. There is no need to force trades, guys, ever. Ever. The best, in fact, in my opinion, one of the best parts about trading is when there are conditions like this. You don't have to trade. If you're doing well enough trading wise, right, you could take a week or 2 or 3 off to say, okay, well, I know I either need to size down or I need to not take any trades right now at all. These conditions have sort of been a little wicky. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be a spectator now, and I'm going to try to adapt my style towards the market. And that's what we should always be doing every day, regardless, winning or losing. Learning time, yes sir. Always learning time. Always. Look at that big buyer stepping in here on ES. Beautiful, nice break there on NQ and ES too. So guys, remember guys, just because we're moving higher pre-market doesn't mean we can't pull back when market opens. Don't go trying to chase up here. You chase up here, guess what? Where's your stop loss? You're going to put your stop loss right there, just for it to wick around and possibly stop you out to then reverse in your favor. No, be patient and wait for a pullback. Always wait for a pullback. He sure made it harder for us that has built our strategies. That was working beautifully up to him talking. Yeah, exactly. Will, you got a great point, right? Everybody was saying how easier the markets were before Trump was back in office. And even Trump's first term in office, markets were a little cleaner to trade, right? Obviously, it came with the extra volatility. Still, markets moved when he tweeted, but it wasn't this absurd. And I mean, again, daily time frame, markets are in a bear trend still. Even though we're pulling back right now, we're pushing higher right now. We're still over, let's see, right at the moment, we're still below 10% off of our highs. And when we're below that 10%, we're still in that correction territory. So we have a ways to go before getting back above that negative 10%, guys. And again, we haven't really seen that big of a pullback like that in a long time. Maybe this one right here. This one was a 15% pullback. And then we reversed pretty quickly. This is and again, this was not that slow of a pullback. This was a long, dragged out pullback for over 25 downside on the NASDAQ from its all-time highs. That's huge. That is huge. Let's see. So yeah, I'm definitely curious as to how we're going to trade today. I want to know, do we find... I also want to see up here if we have any supply or demand zones. Possibly. I'm going to mark this out as a possible zone just so we have it. Because again, I don't want to be trying to take any longs going into a supply zone. CL has inverse head and shoulders on the 5-minute.
Yeah, it's breaking it now.
Nice NASDAQ pump right there. Again, markets don't open for another 10 minutes. We do have a little time to be patient. Most pro trade, dude, for real, right? And they're huge, ass Manhattan high rises. They're just like crying away with the 10 grand bottle of whatever their choice is. That's what I'm saying, guys. Don't let these bad weeks, don't let different market conditions, don't let them, one, drain you emotionally, but two, most importantly, drain you financially, right? Drain your trading account. Acknowledge market conditions, know when to not trade, know when to size down. These are two major steps to becoming a full-time trader that a lot of people don't even think of. Too many people just think, how do I make money? Where can I get a good entry? How can I make the most off of my trades? They don't think of, well, when the market conditions roll over and my setups aren't working in my favor, how do I size down? How do I wait and adapt? How do I limit my losses? These are the real questions that will keep you in the game. Not where do I buy? When do I buy? How do I buy? No, that's important, but if you're able to manage your losses, big losses, small losses, manage them enough that you're not blowing an account in 2 days, let alone a week, that is where step one is. Not making money, limiting your losses. Yes, sir. Now, something I see on gold here is I do see our 15-minute basing candle. Now, something I would usually look for is I would look for us to continue. So we have our green basing, we have a red impulse. I would look for this 15-minute candle to continue lower on gold, and that might be okay for a trend trade. Now, we do have some support under us, so I'm not going to take this trade. Something I might look for, because gold has sort of been in more of a bull trend lately, is I might look to see if we want to actually break above this order block or supply zone, because if we're able to break above it and start to reverse, I'll look for us to use it as support. So instead of a supply zone, it'll be a demand zone. So we'll keep an eye on that on gold. NASDAQ still pushing higher, as well as ES.
I think ES is overextended.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a pullback on it.
Let's see. I know, I think I have some supply zones coming up here on the ES. Let's see. Good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are all doing well. Happy Monday. Monday. So we have our open price on ES. Previous day highs already broken. Major level I want to see us break is 55.28. Let's pull up Edgeful and see what's in play. And we could see ES measured move today, like potential bullish move today. Oh, wow, they added a lot more. Oh, cool. Cool. Okay, here we go. Look, green, red days by weekday. Monday, 62% chance of a green day. That's cool. Now, what was I looking for? ADR. I wanted to see potential bull move. Go to report. US 30 at high of day. Nice. Yup, same with ES and NQ, right? They're at new high of days right now. Oh, it doesn't give you the potential bull move. Starts at open. Okay, so we'll wait till market opens to get those stats.
Yeah, unless you create a custom time slot.
True.
I want to know what happened to 12:15 to
But does that
12:16
work?
and everything.
Oh, it does work. Cool. Okay,
You can
cool.
create a custom time, but
You could create. I didn't think sometimes when you change the session or any of the other like sub reports or anything, it keeps the what's in play tab the same. Like it doesn't edit the what's in play tab. But this is cool. It does. So 56, 57 potential London side high, right? So 56, 57. 56, 57. Get out of here. All right, 56, 57. That's all the way up here. Oh, that's above our major level. So again, guys, if we're looking for a trend today, we're going to get above these levels. That would be like London's target, right? So let's mark that as 56, 57. 56, 57. Oh, wait, 56. Wait, 56, 57. Damn. Okay. So again, we're going to mark that out as our London high. London high. Again, potential. This isn't really the London high. This is potential London high target, which London closes at 11 a.m. Eastern. This would be a huge rally right there, guys. There we go. NASDAQ continuing. About to break that buy-side liquidity level I had. Weighted index moving higher too. Markets open in 4 minutes. YouTube, guys, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
London high is 5,500, 5,500, 5,500. What do you think? You like that? Well, the measured move on ES, a half measured move right now is 5,500 to the north. We still are overextended, and so looks like we may hit 5,500, and then I would expect a pullback, probably timed about the time the market opens. Imagine that.
All right. Let's see. Wow, nice rally this morning. There we go. See this? This is why we don't chase on gold. Gotta be a little careful. Now this pullback, on the other hand, if we check our footprint, we can see if volume's been picking up or if it's been weaker. It's been a little weaker. 1,000 volume, 1,000 volumes, 2,000 volume on this one. But Delta has been trying to push positive. So we could wait on this. I see that sellers have been a lot stronger to the downside when they step in. So I would want to wait and see how we react on this candle. But remember, if I wanted the 15 to close red, this current 5-minute would have to flip and then flip and go red and really just sell off for the next minute 49. Which doesn't seem too probable, but we could add an alert and we could always check our order flow. CVD is red. It's possible. And how that setup would look is it would trigger short once we flip red on this candle, target new low, maybe a 2-to-1 on that. I'm not taking this though, guys. I'm not a fan of the setup right here. It's not giving me a smoother entry. It's not sticking out. We didn't take out previous day low on gold yet. A lot of times if I'm looking for a short position, I want to make sure we took out previous day low, and vice versa if I'm looking for a long position. Crude, on the other hand, coming into this demand zone down here. Now we also have a pre-market low sitting right there as well, and something I notice is we took out this low and reversed. Now I want to see if we could take out this low and reverse. So this might be a long position setup on what's it called? On oil. Possibly. Right? Because we're looking for longs off of demand we are above previous day high, would look for us to continue.
A lot of tug of war here on ES, debating on whether it wants to go to 5,500 or not.
Yep. Well, we just hit that buy-side liquidity level on NASDAQ, and we also hit a supply zone on ES too. I just got to find the time frame of this zone. I do think it's this 1 hour right here. Let's see, S1 hour, or S2 hour, S1 hour. Check the 2 hour, make sure it's not the 2. No, it is the 1 hour. And it really was more of an order block, right? Because when we're looking at the candle itself, we have our basing, we have our sell-off, but we don't have continuation. We pulled back into the zone, we retested it, and then we continued. So that would be more of an order block, but it's still an area of interest. And we did reject it once, and now it looks like we're trying to reject it twice. Market opens. Market's opened. Market is opened. So let's see how we react and trade off of here. I'd want to see if NASDAQ could maybe pull back. Got 4 minutes left. Weighted index looks good to sell off. We'll put up NQ. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are all doing well today. Happy Monday. No, there's an alert in my ear. Let's see.
That's better than a bug.
It was gold. Gold is... What did it give me an alert for? Gold 32.17. 32. Oh, broke on the 5 minute, the low, that previous 5 minute low. But the 15 still closed more bullish than anything, so we'll wait on that. There goes crude also testing inside that demand zone on that low, so we'd want to wait to see how we react to it. See how we reacted over here. Want to see if we get a similar kind of reaction. Right now we're just selling off with some strength, so we don't want to be going in right away. We have some absorption right here, trying to step in on gold, on oil, but we're just gonna wait and see. Point of control is higher. Delta's bearish. I would wait on oil, but I'd definitely consider maybe 61.99 entry, 61.91 stop loss if we could flip and go bullish. Right now, CVD is red, so I'd want to be a little careful on that, guys. Gold still...
Okay, that was a nice little short. Didn't go as far as I wanted, but still a nice little short.
Nice. What did you catch? ES and Q? Nice.
ES short. You know, like I said, I kept saying we were overextended, and so market immediately started dropping.
Yep. No, right off of...
Go south, I would target 54.72-ish as a south side target if they can do it, but there's a lot of tug of war. There is a prior day VPOC at 54.82, so that's a chop area, which is where we are right now. We're stuck on that prior day VPOC.
I like that oil's trying to hold here. I would just really need to see it back above that demand zone. Like 97. Minute 17 left. And trying to find support and
Just made my burrito mania.
There you go. Nice ES and NQ continuing. I mean, I think I like ES and NQ a little better, if anything, than NAS.
Make your money this morning, because this afternoon is full of people chipping teeth.
What's that?
Make your money this morning, because this afternoon is all feds talking, right?
Nice. That's my favorite.
Yeah, there's lots of people just blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
All right, there's 54.73 on the ES.
Nice, nice. I want to see if we could start to hold over here. There we go. NASDAQ hold. Caught the 50 on the scalp. US 30. Nice. Yo, you got it, Brisa. Anybody ever have any questions, guys, on YouTube, please let me know in the comments. We will cover them. Look at that. NASDAQ holding this level of support. I wanted to see, though, if this 15-minute fair value gap within that zone would get tested. Weighted index is selling off pretty strong right now, so I'm not going to jump in any longs right off the gate because VWAP is still below this supply zone, too. We just tested it right there. There's the break into it. Gotta be a little careful now, guys. There we go. Nice, nice. See if we could start to hold this. But again, a lot of sellers were trying to step in here. I do think we might be range bound, and this might be a possible long entry on the NASDAQ here towards that new high a day if buyers want to step in on equities. If we don't, we might fail this and head towards VWAP. Some sellers stepping in. There we go, some sellers. 4:13 left on this 5-minute time frame, so we're just gonna wait right now. We have a little time, and we're still sort of struggling, in my opinion, to break lower. I want to see a strong break with equities. Right now, equities keep sort of dancing around this low. There we go. There's the break. So let's be patient. Let's see how we want to react here. If this volume has followed through or not.
All right, so your ES South target 5467-ish, which would be a 50% retrace of the original box.
Nice.
And it's also where the 50 moving average is on the 5-minute. There we are, touching it now. There's a trend line on the ES based on the current candle. That would be 5461.5.
We're in overbought on the Trick 7 indicator. William, what's the Trick 7 indicator? I've never heard of that one. And thank you, thank you, Brisa. I'm glad I got it right. Alright, let's see. So here's that key level on ES and NQ again, though, but we still have VWAP below it. We are still trying to make higher highs, right? And so without taking out 19,063 on the NASDAQ and about 5450 on the ES, we could still possibly see an area to turn around. But right now we have a lot of selling pressure. If we're checking ES trade map right here, the CVD has been pushing lower. So we could just wait right now, see where we're at. We have low volume in this range between 54.56 and around 54.65. So what did I say, like 55? 55, be about over here, and like 65, 61. We'll say like over here. So again, that VWAP area. So let's see if we want to find some support right in here. So let's see if we could dip through. Great volatility we've been getting lately too, guys. YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We go live on YouTube Monday and Friday for you guys, but we go live Monday through Friday for our amazing community at Bullishbrs.com. There's VWAP on the NASDAQ. Again, weighted index trying to sell off here. Now, something I would like to do is I like to see, okay, where are equities? Are equities really bearish right now, or could this possibly just be a pullback? Well, Amazon's selling off. Apple looks bearish, Nvidia looks bearish, Tesla looks bearish, Meta looks bearish, and now Microsoft looks bearish. Alright, no longer interested in any longs at the moment until something starts to turn around and suggest that, okay, we're trying to hold these lows, we're trying to hold these previous higher lows. You know, what's the market doing? Where are we going? Again, right now, too, we are still above previous day high on Microsoft, Apple, and Nvidia. And we're trying to break back below that previous day high on Tesla, which is also near its VWAP level too. So we have a minute left for this 5 minutes to close. It is looking very strong to the downside, thinking maybe even NASDAQ breaks lower of this 19,063 and possibly ES holds the low. So we'll have to see. Look at that quick buying pressure, quick squeeze right there. Huge move. Wow. Right off of that low volume area too. We're going to be careful. We're going to be patient. 30 seconds left, right? 30 seconds, CVD spiked. So this either needs follow through, and we might be able to scalp that long on the next candle, or this is going to fade away. And this was just a quick stop hunt before we continue on lower. Look at that, guys. All within 15 seconds. It went from a red candle to potential reversal with buying volume, right back to red. So everybody that's trying to trade momentum or a little too scared, they end up stopping out just for us to continue. Look at this, huge. All right, there's that low volume shelf. Very big on the ES here. Oh man, look at the selling pressure. CVD dropped, new low on the CVD. We see VIX is moving higher too. There we go. NASDAQ trying to move lower. Weighted index dropping as well. Great bear moves today. Tricks crossover moving average strength indicator. Oh, that's pretty cool, man. Let's see.
54.53. And then target south of that, 54.50.5.
Okay, so there's ES trying to hold his low volume area I marked out from about 55 to 61. Now again, we want to see if we could hold it or if we want to just break through it. Because right now, look at that big break, guys. A lot of sellers, huge gap up on the VIX. That's a bearish sentiment. So markets are selling right now. Came right off of the supply zone and that buy side liquidity level on the NASDAQ. So huge drop right there. Thinking we might want to move lower. I think we just keep selling off, guys. Check out the NASDAQ chart right here. We have all these lows to be taken out. And the weighted index looks like it's going to keep going lower. Big drops. Here we go.
I got nothing till 18.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We got like nice moves going. We do not have much support below us. I have 19014. But other than that, okay. Other than that, I think we might continue. Below VWAP already. Beautiful. Look at that.
ES at VWAP, and it's got just one little tiny more push, and it'll take out the 8 o'clock low, 8 a.m. low. RSI shows us pretty extended, overextended into the oversold area. So
Boom.
if we do a
Big
counter
breaks.
back around here, that'll bring us back to around 54.70, low 70s.
Nice. Oh, here we go. Here we go. NQ short. Dude, you cashed on that one. What's the red on the top two? The red on the top two, like up here, these are supply zones. So right here we see this has a 1 hour label on it. So this was found on the 1 hour time frame. And let's see, what do we got? This is a 30-minute supply zone. Now this is a 30-minute supply zone. However, we broke it yesterday and retested it. So usually I delete it. But because it's yesterday's zone, I wanted to keep it as a potential target. Because guess what? If we continue selling off here and we find this momentum to the downside and we start taking out this low and this low, where are we at? If I mark out all of these higher lows, lower time frame higher lows, I think we could try to run through these previous day highs right here, 49.18. That's about 40 points away from where we currently are trading. I think we continue lower. NASDAQ could rip lower too. That's another 200 points on NQ. I mean, if anything, this support zone down here on NASDAQ isn't for another 400 points. And that's all the way at 18,645. That's crazy. Selling pressure is still strong, guys. So wouldn't be looking for any longs at all. Just got to listen to the market, watch it, and let it play out. I found this indicator online. I only use it for overbought and oversold conditions with my strategy. Cool, dude. That's cool. So let's see. So right now, check this out. If we're looking at the crosshair on both of these charts right here, we see that the NASDAQ was able to take out this low on the NASDAQ. So right over here, this is about 11 p.m. low. ES is not near that 11 p.m. low yet. So Nasdaq's a lot weaker right now. Tech is a lot weaker at the moment. So possibly for a short entry, we might be able to look to see if this 5-minute imbalance we created, because that lines up with this supply zone. So that might be a possible short entry. But we do have to be careful too, guys, because if volume wants to step in strong, we look like we might want to reverse, and we still are above that previous day high. So we got to be a little patient on this. Let the market come to us. Let the market give us some type of clue or idea of direction, and just take it for what it is. Let's see, 5 minutes. Let's also check the economic calendar. Random man, you're killing it. All I see on my other chart, my other screen over here, is just like banger, banger, banger. Where is it?
Let's scalp, man. Scalper.
Love it, love it. All right, let's see. Today is Monday. I'm not seeing anything strong on the economic calendar. Consumer inflation expectations. It's only a 1 on the expectation, so I would not be too concerned. And that's at 11 a.m. Eastern, so not even thinking about that right now. Nice rejection candle there on the ES off of VWAP. We could also check to see where the Nasdaq is currently trading at. We could check footprint and the book map too.
You should quickly show, like I just kind of started using it, but on when you're doing the long and short, like you always do it anyway. But if
Yeah.
you right click on it, you can create the limit order, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it, yeah.
Like how to how to do it?
Started using that. Yeah, how to do it. Like it's like, you know, people always have a problem with like, should I take the trade? Like you always mark yours out.
Yeah.
But if you right click on once you have a level, like how you have a level, you right click, you create the limit order, it does everything for you.
Yep, exactly. And guys, here, you know what? That's a great idea. We'll cover that real quick right now. So look, we're selling off for continuing lower. Now let's say I wanted to look for shorts in this 15-minute supply zone on Nasdaq, right? And I was using my short position tool. I put my entry around this 19,124, and I wanted my stop loss around 164. Now, if my normal risk is about 250, something I might see is that, okay, well, on the Nasdaq, if I have a 38-point stop loss, there's no way I'm even able to risk one contract. So it's going to tell me I could only trade 0.3 contracts. Now, obviously, we can't trade fractions of contracts. However, we could trade micros, which are fractions of the minis. So if I come over to the MNQ over here, what I could do is I could also hit right click on the position tool on NQ, come over to copy, and then I could paste it over on the MNQ. I'm going to come over here and then hit, where is paste? There it is, paste. It's going to place it on the chart. Now it might place it up a little higher. That's all right. We're just going to move it down where we wanted it. And if you need help lining it up, what you could do is, because I see this is a, let's see, I was going to say a 15-minute supply zone, but it's also a, oh, well, duh, the crosshairs line up, guys. Check it out. Looking at the crosshair right now on NQ on the top right and MNQ on the bottom right, we see that the crosshair is going to line up at our entry point, and we want our entry point to be right there. So now we have our entry on MNQ. It says we could trade 3 MNQ contracts. Now we could right click on it, create limit order, and now it's going to set it out for you. It tells you how much your reward will be on the trade, how much your risk will be on the trade. So if you're wrong, you lose 232. If you're right, make 759. And you could always adjust how many contracts you want before setting it out. If you feel a little more confident on that trade, maybe add a couple more contracts, risk 464 to make 1500. Or if you're not too confident, you could always go lower. 2 contracts, risk 150 to make 500. That's still a great risk to reward right there. Then you hit sell limit. It places your orders out there, and once it hits, you are filled into the trade, and that's how you use that position tool. You've been using that a lot, Random?
Yeah, I never used to be honest, and I really like it.
Yeah, dude, it's really cool. It helps a lot with knowing how many contracts to size into.
All right, ES on the 5-minute, we have an engulfing candle. It went up to the 50 SMA on the 5-minute, rejected, took out 1 tick low, on the low side. So this is a range expanding candle, means they're exploring, which generally means we don't take a trade here because both sides are pushing. It's a tug of war.
Yep. Yep, I see that. And guys, check out gold too. Gold looks like it's trying to move its way through that order block level I had. This red zone between 32.23 and 32.28. So if we can manage to get above that, I do have low volume setting around 32.32 and 32.36. So 32.32, 32.36. I'm going to assume that lines up right within, look at that, right within our fair value gap. So this might be a short entry on gold here. Our optimal trade entry also lines up right within that zone. So we can look to use our short position tool, line it up with our OTE and the fair value gap, which also lines up with our low volume that we were looking at over here. And the low volume starts around 32.32, which is a couple points within the fair value gap, which gives me a little bit of a better entry. So now this might be the setup that I'm looking for. Now let's take a look here on crude. Crude ended up continuing lower, guys. Look at that. Glad we didn't try to take any trades on crude. We moved lower. We hit that open price below previous day high as well. Let's see. Big rejection on the NASDAQ. Look at that. NAS holding off of that 1900, right? 1900 key zone I had there. So I wonder if we do want to reject, move back higher, which we are. Throw our optimal trade entry up there. OTE is probably going to line up. Oh, it does line up right here with this zone right there. So we'll have to see. I might not take this trade on the NASDAQ. I'd rather see this trade on like the ES so I could really line it up with Bookmap.
All right,
Nice,
Come into
dude.
resistance here.
50 SMA, north side target 54.78.5.
Rushed.
Killed it.
As soon as it bounced, like yeah, I was practicing because I didn't have anything. As soon as it bounced and made a higher low off of that level I marked out, I showed the second picture. Then it gave me confidence to take my consecutive scalps.
Nice. Good work. Good work. Great trades, dude. Great just trading with the market. That's it, man. With the market, with your strategy, with your system. Can't trade against anything. Rejecting VWAP at the moment. Trying to move lower. Wonder if this is. It is. I get it during cautions of the wind. That's funny. That's funny. That's great. Alright, let's see. So look at this. ES tried to hold up a lot stronger than the NASDAQ did, right? ES is still trying to hold above VWAP. NASDAQ is trying to hold below VWAP. So we do have some contradictory going on in the markets. NAS showing more bearish. ES trying to hold and show bullish. But both of them are looking to fail to the downside. Weighted index down here. Equities are moving lower. Yeah. What is your web for? Balaj, what do you mean by that? What is your web for? We have a community, Bullishbrs.com, if you're talking about our website. And you could join, get some free live streams with us. Well, not free. You have to be a member to join to get Monday through Friday with us. If not, Monday and Friday are live up on here on YouTube for you guys. Here we go. There's a pullback on NASDAQ here. And again, it came off of this key level. Rejected this internal low. Oh, let's see if NAS has anything on the footprint chart.
I don't know if you remember this from Friday, Kev, but it was actually, yeah, Thursday, Friday, how it came back into range from that Wednesday candle on TPO. And remember how we had that marked out? I kept it. You could see, boom, hit the top of that level, and then once it came in, yeah. So it's like support and demand, but on TPO.
Dude, that's awesome. That's so cool. TPO. And what software do you use for your TPO charts?
I just use MotiveWave. I trade off MotiveWave.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of it?
I've heard you mention it a few times. I haven't gotten into it myself.
I've had it for like, I want to say 6, 7 years.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and it's really, really good trading software. Um, yeah, you should reach out to them, man. Like they're really good guys, really, really good footprint software, TPO software, etc.
Oh, that's dope. That's really cool. Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to them. That's cool. Thank you. Appreciate the recommendation on that.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd love to have you. You know, do some for Bullishbrs, do some kind of cross type promotion
100%.
as like an actually good company. You know.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's see. ESNQ, I'm mainly watching these two right now, guys. Really looking to see if we find some rejection and move lower. We have been trying to reverse and move higher, though, so we got to be a little careful with that. Gold is rejecting the supply zone at the moment on it was the 15-minute, it was an order block. But remember, on the 30-minute now, it's looking like we're trying to find some support. We could see that with the longer, lower wicks. And what else we got? Hourly, we could always just go through our higher time frames, get an idea of direction in the market. Right, gold has been sort of on an uptrend, so I wouldn't really be jumping into shorts right away right now. Oil.
Yeah, good point. It
Right.
held, it broke the high and then held like support and demand rules, right? So it broke the high, came down and held the last support low. So technically, got to have patience in case it grabs support again and tries to make another high.
Yep, exactly. We don't want to try to get in short when that's the lower high we create, right? So we just want to be
Yeah.
patient on it, let it sort of play out. And if it doesn't give us a setup, that's okay, because then guess what? We have other markets we could watch, other setups we could look for. Let the market come to us. Don't rush into the market. I'm looking at this level here on ES. This blue zone was the low volume shelf I had. I wanted to see if we wanted to start to hold up. I just downloaded MotoWave. They have a free version that is limited. Still trying to get used to. Oh, that's cool.
It's
You guys-
super intense though, so it takes time. Like, don't give up on it. Is all I could say. It's very intense stuff.
Oh yeah, it's like a very like in-depth kind of software.
Oh yeah, it's the dude that coded it is Menza, and he's 1% of Menza. So his code is like top of the line, but he did it where every single bit of what you see is customizable. Everything.
Wow.
So it's pretty in depth. Like I customized mine over the years, so I could give them templates. The person trying it, but yeah, don't give up on it.
That's cool. That's really cool. It's cool, but it sucks when a platform is like that, because then it does get not tedious, but it gets a little more complex, and you can't really focus on your own trading at that point because you're too busy trying to figure out how the platform works. So definitely take
Yeah,
it just like trading.
templates.
Yep, just like
Yeah.
trading, one thing at a time. If it's a new software, take it one tool at a time. Don't dive into the heat map and the footprint and this, one at a time. I think some longs here on ES in this zone off of VWAP. Maybe like a 5-point stop loss on this, see if we find some buying pressure here. We have some buyers stepping in. Minute 35 left, CVD trying to curve higher too. There we go. Check our footprint chart. Some buying pressure, like it.
Copy on that trend line. So.
Oof. Point of control is way down there, though. No longer a fan. We're going to have to wait and see. I'd like to see if volume could start to reach up here. There we go. Point of control moving higher. Now gaining some more confidence on this setup. Volume is still negative CVD, negative delta on this 5-minute candle right here. So I really need to see us start holding higher prices on this current 5-minute chart for us to move higher. If we fail these lows right here, there is a good chance that we do want to continue lower. But for 44 seconds, guys, it's definitely worth just letting this 5-minute candle close. Because you try to go long here, with 30 seconds left, it wicks you out, and then in 10 seconds left, it wicks back higher. There's no point trying to jump in. Or you go short here, and it continues higher. Or you go long there, and continues lower. We don't know right now. It's a 50-50, and when markets aren't giving us a higher probability setup, and we're not trading with a clear trend, we want to be patient. Extra patient. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to wrap up today's stream a little extra early today. I do apologize on that. Just got some stuff I got to take care of this week, and sort of time matters. So I do appreciate you all for tuning in. YouTube, hit that like button. Discord, love you guys. Hope you guys all had a pretty good trading session. I know we're sort of range bound right now. Again, looking to see if we want to try to hold these lows over here on ES. See volume started to pick up here. We have positive delta down here, which tells me that there are at the moment some more passive buyers. But right now, with all the range bound price action, we have the uncertainty in the market. Make sure that you're at least sizing down and limiting how many trades you take, and only take the trades that really speak to you, right? Take trades that everything sets up evenly, right? The 5 minute looks like it's going to reverse. The footprint is giving you good volume analysis. Things are lining up in your favor. Don't be taking trades just because you want to try to see something happen, right? I want to see us reverse here. That doesn't matter. We need to actually reverse in order to get that reversal, and us wanting to see that isn't going to make it happen. Alright, guys. Love you all. Take care. Have a great day.
Later, dude.
Later.